Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Here I am Tarun Sharma, and here we are going to talk about a brand new playlist which is going to talk about Airbnb clone. We are done with the Swiggy clone, Uber Eats clone. I'm building the rest of the videos that contains a lot of design and the Next.js application. And in parallel, I also want to build a Airbnb clone so that I won't get bored by Uber Eats clone. I can also parallelly work with Airbnb clone, because for these kind of full stack application, I'm adopting the common methodology. We are using Nextjs APIs, and on front end we are using the React and the Next.js. And we are going to use ChatGPT for taking lots of decisions. Okay, so let's build Airbnb clone. Here what we are doing is, let's talk about the features. What all features I need to build Airbnb clone? So ChatGPT will answer, I need a user registration, authentication, property listing. Obviously there, because we need to show on the landing page what all different properties are available with the different categories. Search and filters, robust search functionality that allows us to search the properties based on the location, dates and their availability. Booking and the reservation management allows users to book the property, check the availability, manage their reservations. Review and ratings, that can, so these individual features can be, you can think as a separate services. The review and rating management, booking reservation system APIs, search and filters, that should be attached with the property listing and the user authentication. Okay, and then payment integration, because at the end you would be doing a Stripe payment. User profile and verification, notification system, social sharing, recommendation, admin dashboard, a Next.js dashboard we can build. Localization, currency, we can stick to only one currency. Mobile we are not looking for. And then now let's build authentication system. Authorization system for Airbnb clone app. So I think it should keep building on top of that. So what all things we need? Let's say I'm building my own authentication service, or I don't want to use it. I can just use existing solutions provided by Auth0, Firebase and all. So secure password storage, login, access token, password reset, authorization, role-based access control, because there will be multiple roles. We'll be using the applications admin, host, guest and middleware for authentication. Logout functionality, which can delete the session. Account deactivations, secure sessions using cookies. Two-factor authentication using your API system. Logs and monitoring. Okay, what all authentication solutions available for Airbnb clone, I mean for any system. Let's see if it is able to understand. We are building Airbnb clone. So what all different authentication solutions we can use? These primarily, I'm just reading and explaining because this is all generated solution. Industry standard, we can use Auth 2.0, and we can just allow users to authenticate themselves using Facebook, Google or Twitter. Or we can just use Auth0, that is also using Auth, that is a custom provider. Using that you can just log in with the username, password, log in with social providers, log in with SSO. All these things are there. Or you can just create a JSON web token based authentication, writing by your own service, where you will be building your authentication and authorization. Firebase authentication. Firebase authentication is a backend service provided by Google's Firebase platform, and we have used Firebase for the Swiggy clone. We build a simple token based authentication in the Uber Eats clone. So we can use the first one. We can use Auth0 platform, which comprises of all these solutions, and then Firebase authentication. And this Auth0 you can connect with the NextAuth. For if you are building the Next.js application, you can use this Auth0 for your API development and all. And then OpenID Connect, Auth0. This is what I'm thinking to use for my next project. I mean, it allows you to log in with the social logins with username, password, or you can build your own custom login service. Obviously, building your own service is really tricky. You need to handle all the different scenarios of custom reset password, password policy, managing the users in the database, managing the passwords using secured hash and salt values. I mean, that's easy to build, but we can give this responsibility to a third-party provider, so we can just focus more on the services and logic services. Okay, so now I want to understand more on what technology should I use for building APIs, Node.js. I mean, I want to Node.js specific answer. I don't want to go with the Python or anything else. So we can see Express.js is a popular lightweight framework. Then we have a Next.js, Fastify, Koa. Fastify is fast. That I have seen in the states when you benchmark simple APIs, it's the fastest among. It can serve more requests than Next.js and Express. Koa is a lightweight modern API framework. So there are a Happy.js, Loopback, Sales.js, Koa, Nest.js, Express. I will stick to Nest.js or Express. That gives us whatever we need. Otherwise, you can also use a Fastify. I mean, these are just like a wrapper around. And Happy.js I have used, that is also really robust. Now, my next question will be, we thought about, okay, what technology I should use. I can copy the question. For building the UI. Right? I'm just taking some reference that what should I do? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, obviously no. We are working in the today's world where we have these frameworks to build the components. There is a React, and then there is Angular, there is a Vue.js, there is a Flutter. If you are looking for the native devices, Swift, Xamarin, and React Native. Okay, these are out of options. We can stick to only the web framework because we are building this as a web app. Okay, and then okay, what technology should I use to deploy my app? So here I'm just checking, okay, what all technologies for deployments. Cloud platforms we can use like AWS, Azure, GCP, containerized solutions where we can just deploy these services as an individual container. And serverless computing, you can deploy these services as a simple Lambda. Or traditional hosting, you can buy your own server, you create your own, configure your own VPC, deploy these services on these systems, EC2 instances. Or content delivery network, this you can use to render the static content. Like you can deploy your front-end applications because those will be rendered through the CDN like React app. And you can also use a platform as a service provided by Netlify, Heroku, Vercel. You can use to deploy your Next.js applications because that requires the Node.js instance running. Either you can use a Lambda Edge or something. So you can use a platform as a platform as a service provider by these. Okay. Now, what are other questions you have in mind? What technology should I use for version control? So I already know the answers. I'm just talking to you so that I can give you all the different options. Okay, distributed offline, Git you can install. You can also install this GitLab and Git your own systems on your server, and then you can have your own GitLab repositories. Otherwise, you can use GitLab and GitHub repositories provided by these. You can branching and merging. Git provides excellent support for this branching and merging Git flow, and you can also adopt some kind of a branching strategy. Speed and performance, Git provides all these things. For the collaborations and remote repositories, you can use a GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, where you can manage your remote repository. Okay, so these are the version control. We can stick to GitHub. We are not in the world where we are using subversion, SVN, and all. Okay, so we got the version control, we got the deployment platform, and then should I use for writing code? Let's say I'm talking about editors, not technology here. Okay, Electron is okay. What is the question? VS Code is a extensions API. VS Code is really powerful. JavaScript based editors are there. AC editor, Atom. So I won't talk about that. VS Code is more than enough. So we have covered the technologies for the front end, for the back end, and for technologies should I use for building microservices. And then we can also ask ChatGPT, should I use REST API, should I use GraphQL, or should I use something else? You can use Go, Java, Node.js, containerized and orchestration. For that, you can use a Docker and Kubernetes API gateway. You can use AWS API gateway. For messaging, you can use Apache Kafka and RabbitMQ. For database, MySQL, Postgres, and relational database, and then logging and all. Now my question is, should I use REST APIs or GraphQL for building Airbnb clone? Right? Now it talks about the pros and cons that I'm interested in. REST API is representational state transfer, a well-established architecture style where you can define all these methods, get, put, post. REST APIs are widely understood, provide a clear separations between client and server. You can use GraphQL. It's also a query language where you are writing queries and the mutations, and you are using GraphQL client to trigger query and mutations, and that's also based on the HTTP protocol. GraphQL provides a strongly typed schemas, allowing clients to discover a particular query and the mutations. So, I mean, there are many advantages. GraphQL will give you only what you need, right? GraphQL, I mean, if the data transfer across client and server is a minimal, then you are actually saving the bandwidth for the low data connection devices. And here we are doing a query and mutations. We are fetching only whatever is needed. Okay, if you want to get more attributes, go get more data, then you can just change the client. You don't need to mutate or update the server and reflect those changes. On top of that, there are many advantages. So what all technologies? How to write? I mean, we are just doing a generic discussion. So I think these are the pretty much questions I have with ChatGPT to understand what all different solutions, what all different tools, what all different technologies which are available to build any SaaS platform, right? So now, because Airbnb clone or a booking.com clone, it's like a SaaS based platform we are building where user can run all the features, at least for the demo, and we are building all these microservices so that we can get all these things end to end ready. So welcome to this playlist where I'm going to cover Airbnb clone. I'm going to discuss on lots of things before even starting, like baselining the code, database discussions, architecture discussions, and how we are going to play with this on the local system. Okay, thanks everyone. Stay tuned. I'm going to publish more and more videos, and Uber Eats clone is already running.